Okay, Sam, like, seriously, I just had this moment this morning, right? I was scrolling on my phone, totally like zoned out, and this influencer popped up. And she was just, wake up, grind, repeat. Success is all about hustle. And I caught myself thinking, oh man, I wish I had her life.
Yeah, Chloe, I totally get that. That's such a classic opener to the whole scroll effect thing we're going to talk about today. It's insidious, isn't it? Because it starts so innocently. You're just, casually browsing and then bam, you're hit with these perfectly curated little snippets that just they feel like truth, even when you know deep down it's not the whole story. And then, well, then the comments start, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like someone immediately commented, wish I had your life, just like I was thinking. It's wild. And then, like, boom, an ad pops up. New filter pack, be your best self. Perfect skin guaranteed. And I'm sitting there, coffee in hand, looking at my own face, thinking, maybe I do need that filter pack. It's really messed up, you know?
It is. It really is. And that's exactly it, Chloe. That's where those algorithms start to really they whisper, They just kind of nudge you. Those ads, they pretend to be advice, like, "Hey, here's how you can be better." And before you even realize it, you or in our example, someone like Alex, you start to believe them. You just slowly start to internalize it all.
So, wait, you're saying it's not just that I saw a pretty picture, it's that the entire system is like built to make me feel a certain way, to make me question myself?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's designed with intention. It's not just a coincidence that you saw that influencer and then that comment and then that ad. These platforms, they have incredibly sophisticated algorithms that are like constantly learning about you. They know what you've clicked on, what you've lingered on, what makes you feel a certain emotion even. And they're just feeding you more and more of that content, right? So if you're like a little bit insecure about your appearance, they'll show you more perfect appearances. And then, of course, the solutions.
Oh, wow. So it's like a feedback loop? I look at something, it makes me feel a way, and then the algorithm's like, aha, she liked that feeling. More of that. Even if that feeling is insecurity?
Precisely. It's a very clever in a really unsettling way, feedback loop. And it's not always about making you feel good. Sometimes it's about triggering a reaction, keeping you engaged. If a little bit of envy or a little bit of comparison makes you scroll for just a few more minutes, then the algorithm's done its job. It's like it's constantly optimizing for your attention, and it doesn't really care what emotional state that attention comes from. It just wants you to keep scrolling.
Man, that's intense. So, going back to Alex, the person we're kind of thinking about here, she's seeing all this, and it's like actually sinking in, isn't it?
No, it's absolutely sinking in. And this is where it really gets dangerous, because what starts as just casual viewing, suddenly it transforms into this internal monologue. Alex, like so many people, she starts to look at her own life through this very distorted lens. She's thinking, why doesn't my life look like that? Like, why isn't it as shiny, as perfect, as put together as what she's seeing on her screen? And then the next thought is, perhaps it could be improved if I made more posts. Perhaps my appearance could have been improved.
Oh, that's so real. I've totally been there. You know, you scroll and suddenly you're like mentally redesigning your living room or planning a whole new wardrobe because everyone else's feed looks so much more aspirational. And then you start thinking about how you can present yourself better online instead of just, living your life.
Exactly. It's this constant pressure to perform, right? Like, if your life isn't content worthy, is it even a good life? That's the insidious question these platforms, they subtly plant in our minds. Alex starts believing that her worth or her happiness is tied to how well she curates her own digital self. It's not about being authentic anymore. It's about being palatable or even enviable for the feed. And that's a really, really heavy burden to carry, just trying to keep up with an illusion.
So, in just a few minutes, Alex's world, it literally shrinks down. But you said not by force, but by design. What do you mean by that exactly?
Right. So think about it. Before social media, your world, your frame of reference, was your immediate community, your friends, family, maybe what you saw on TV. It was tangible. Now, in just a few minutes of scrolling, Alex is exposed to like thousands of perfectly edited lives, often of complete strangers. And because the algorithm is so good at feeding her more of what she likes or what she reacts to, her entire perception of normal or successful or beautiful starts to narrow down to this very specific, often unattainable ideal. It's like not someone physically stopping her, but the platform's design is just gently but firmly funneling her perception.
Oh, wow. So it's almost like living in a bubble, but it's a bubble made of other people's highlight reels.
Exactly. A highlight reel bubble. I like that, Chloe. It's a digital mirror, right? But it's not reflecting who Alex truly is or who she wants to be in her actual real life. No, it's reflecting back to her only what keeps her scrolling. It's like a warped funhouse mirror, really, showing you a distorted version of yourself and others, all designed to keep you glued to the screen. It's a very clever trick, and it works on so many of us because it taps into those very human desires for connection, for belonging, for self improvement. But it twists them into something that, well, keeps us stuck.
That idea of the digital mirror reflecting what keeps her scrolling, not who you are, that's super powerful. Can you, unpack that a bit more? How does it actually work on a psychological level?
Yeah, for sure. So imagine a regular mirror, right? You look into it, you see yourself, you get feedback. But this digital mirror, it's not passive. It's actively selecting what to show you. It's showing you images and stories that trigger a reaction, whether that's envy, aspiration, joy, or even mild distress. And every time you react, by pausing, by liking, by scrolling slower, you're essentially telling the algorithm, more of that, please. So it shows you more of the content that it knows will keep your eyes glued. It's not interested in your actual genuine happiness or self-worth. It's interested in your engagement, your time, your data. It doesn't care if the content it shows you makes you feel bad about yourself, as long as it makes you spend more time on the app.
Oh my gosh. So it's basically like exploiting our human vulnerabilities, our desire to compare ourselves, to improve, to fit in?
Absolutely, Chloe. It's a masterclass in behavioral psychology, really. It taps into our inherent human tendencies. We're wired to compare ourselves, to seek social validation. And these platforms offer, well, they offer an endless stream of both. But it's a false stream, because what you're seeing isn't real life. It's an edited, optimized performance. And the mirror just keeps reflecting that performance back, conditioning us to crave more of it, to compare ourselves more, ultimately keeping us trapped in that scrolling loop. It's a very clever, a very effective trap, unfortunately.
So is there a chemical component to this too? I feel like sometimes I just can't stop, even when I know it's not good for me.
Oh, absolutely. You've hit on a really crucial point there, Chloe. This isn't just a psychological trap, it's a neurological one, too. Every time you scroll and you see something new, something engaging, a like, a comment, a shocking headline, a funny video, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. It's that feel-good neurotransmitter. It's what makes us seek out rewards, what drives our motivation. And these platforms are designed to give you just enough unpredictable rewards to keep you coming back for more. It's like a slot machine, right? You never know when you're going to hit the jackpot, so you just keep pulling the lever, or in this case, keep swiping up.
Wow, so it's literally like a dopamine treadmill. My brain is just getting little rewards to keep me running.
That's a perfect way to put it, the dopamine treadmill. And the thing is, these hits are often small, fleeting, but they're consistent enough to build a habit and even an addiction. Your brain starts to associate the act of scrolling with the potential for reward, so it drives you to do it again and again, even when those rewards aren't really fulfilling. It hijacks your natural reward system essentially, making you crave the next hit, the next piece of content, the next validation, just to keep that dopamine flowing. It's a powerful feedback loop that's really hard to break once it's like really established itself.
So, if we're constantly on this treadmill, getting these little dopamine hits, but also feeling bad about ourselves because of what we're seeing, what does that actually do to our self worth over time? Like, how does it really erode it?
That's a critical question, Chloe. And it's really detrimental, honestly. Because when you're constantly exposed to these idealized, often unattainable images and narratives, your brain starts to subconsciously compare your own messy, everyday reality to these polished fictions. You begin to internalize the idea that you're not thin enough, not successful enough, not beautiful enough, not traveling enough, not happy enough. It's this continuous stream of not enoughness that just it chips away at your sense of self-worth. You start to believe that your real life, with all its imperfections, just isn't measuring up to the fabricated perfection you see online.
And I guess you start feeling like you have to constantly perform your life online too, to try and keep up with that impossible standard.
Exactly. It creates this exhausting cycle. You feel inadequate from what you're consuming, so then you try to present a more perfect version of yourself online, which only adds to the collective illusion, and then others feel inadequate, and so on. It's a vicious cycle where everyone is performing, everyone is comparing, and very few people are actually feeling truly good about themselves. The constant seeking of external validation through likes and comments also diminishes your internal sense of validation. You start relying on others to tell you you're good enough rather than knowing it yourself. And that's a really fragile foundation for self-worth, right?
And the weirdest thing is, sometimes I feel like I'm really connected to people on social media, but then in real life, I actually feel more isolated. Is that part of this whole scroll effect, too?
Yeah, absolutely, Chloe. That's a huge component of it, actually. It's the illusion of connection. Social media platforms are really good at making us feel like we're part of a vast community, right? You're seeing updates from hundreds, sometimes thousands of friends or followers. You're commenting, you're liking, you're observing. But here's the thing, most of that engagement is very superficial. It's not the deep, meaningful connection that human beings actually crave and need for well-being. It's passive consumption of other people's lives or shallow interactions. And because it's so easy to engage in this way, it can actually replace real-life interactions. You might scroll through your friends' vacation photos for an hour, feel like you've caught up, but you haven't actually had a conversation with them.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. I've definitely done that. Like, I know what everyone's doing, but I haven't actually talked to them in ages.
Exactly. And this leads to a sense of social isolation, even amidst all this apparent connectedness. You're seeing everyone else's highlight reels, which often makes you feel like your own life is less exciting or that you're missing out. And because you're spending more time scrolling, you're spending less time engaging in real-world activities that foster genuine connections, meeting up for coffee, joining a club, volunteering. So, ironically, the very thing designed to connect us can actually make us feel more alone, more disconnected from the tangible world and the people in it. It's a really subtle but powerful trick of the mind.
So it sounds like this whole scroll effect is just this huge, overwhelming, right? Like, is there even a way to, like, break free from it? Or at least manage it better?
That's a fantastic question, Chloe. And it's absolutely not overwhelming. I mean, it can feel that way, right? But the good news is, absolutely yes. There are definitely ways. The first step, really, is just awareness. Like what we're doing right now, just understanding how these mechanisms work, how they're designed to keep us hooked. Once you know that, you can start to observe your own scrolling habits more critically. Ask yourself, why am I picking up my phone right now? What emotion am I trying to avoid or seek? Just that little pause can make a huge difference.
So, like, being more mindful about it instead of just, like, instinctively opening the app?
Exactly. Being mindful. Another really effective strategy is to create friction. Make it harder to access. Delete apps from your home screen, put them in a folder, turn off notifications completely. That's a big one. Those little pings are just constant invitations back into the scroll. Set time limits on your apps, even just like putting your phone in a different room when you're doing something. It sounds simple, but it really, really helps to break that automatic habit loop. And crucially, start intentionally replacing that scrolling time with real world activities that bring you genuine joy or connection. Like reading a book, going for a walk, calling a friend, learning a new skill. It's about consciously choosing to engage with your actual life rather than just passively consuming someone else's highlight reel.
I really like that idea of replacing the scrolling with, like, actual real life stuff, because I think that's where I get stuck sometimes. I delete the app and then I'm just like, now what?
Totally, Chloe. That now what moment is key. It's not just about abstaining, it's about actively choosing something else that enriches you. For Alex, for anyone, it's about reclaiming that space, that mental real estate that was previously occupied by endless scrolling and comparison. It's about reconnecting with your own values, your own passions, your own authentic self outside of what the digital mirror reflects. Because your worth, your happiness, your success, those things are not defined by likes or follower counts or perfectly filtered photos. They're found in your experiences, your relationships, your contributions to the world around you, your ability to just be present. It's really about remembering that your actual life, the one happening right now, is the one that truly matters, not the performance.
That's such a good point. It's like actually living instead of just watching other people live. And I guess it's okay if my real life isn't, like, gram worthy all the time.
Oh, absolutely. It's more than okay, Chloe. It's essential. The most gram-worthy moments are often the ones you don't even think to pull out your phone for. They're the quiet connections, the genuine laughter, the moments of deep absorption in something you love. Those are the things that truly nourish your soul, not the fleeting validation of a digital interaction. So for Alex and for all of us, it's about consciously stepping off that treadmill and into our own lives. And that's really empowering. Do you know what I mean? It's taking back control, one mindful scroll or black